What's up, everyone? I'm Bertrand.
I'm Emmett.
And we are here today on Powell Butte in Portland, Oregon to share with you the brand new Zipp 303 Explore wheels. We've got a demo pair from our rep at SRAM, thank you, on this NV Mog, and we are running with the S version. There's also an SW, which will be the more racy, high-end version, and the S is the more affordable entry-level option for those of you wanting to make a pretty significant and pretty fresh aero upgrade to your gravel bike. So with these new wheels, both the S and the SW, which share the same rim profile, we are seeing a 32 millimeter internal width, which is optimized for tires between 38 millimeters and 50 millimeters in width. What happened previously with gravel wheels is that narrower rims, which have been traditional, they're still pretty wide, like a 25 millimeter internal rim, creates an aerodynamic inefficiency between the maximum width of the tire when it's blown up and then the shape of the rim, whereas these are meant to lower that difference, which can save up to 5 watts in drag.
Yeah, and you'll also notice that these are quite a bit deeper than what we might consider conventional gravel wheels being. They're actually at 54 millimeters in depth, which adds to that aerodynamic efficiency.
The SW, which we don't have here, are the high-end, lightest, best version. Comes in just under 1,500 grams, and then the S comes in at about 1,650 in that middle range right there. So there's a difference of about 150 grams that can be saved between the two.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention kind of the principle behind these wheels, and that is that Zipp engineered them around the tire first. The Goodyear Explorer tire.
There are two versions that are being released in tandem with the wheels. There's the Goodyear Explore Slick and the Goodyear Explore Inter. We've got the Inters today, which have an intermediate tread pattern, whereas the Slicks still have a little bit of side knob, but are much slicker in the middle for the faster races. And those are narrower too. The Slicks come in a 40, and the Inters come in a 45, which is what we have today. And yeah, they're really designed specifically for these wheels, and the wheels are designed specifically for these tires. So you'll even note on the sidewall of the Goodyear tires, it says to be used only with Zipp wheels with a 32 millimeter TSS, which is that internal width that we talked about before. So the first thing that struck me when I was setting up these wheels for our demo, which I do want to note, we're running them with tubes because we don't want to return them to our SRAM rep just covered in sealant. So we're not getting the full experience today, but we are getting a good idea of like how the wheels will handle and how the tires interface with the wheels. The one thing that really stood out to me when mounting the tires yesterday for this was that I didn't think the bead had seated correctly, but it had, and it's because the rims are so wide and the thickness of the sidewall of the rim and where it interfaces is so proud, which creates that really nice aerodynamic profile, that it just didn't look like I'm used to when I mount tires, which, you know, they bulb out a little bit, and I was waiting for these to, you know, the bead to pop, snap, snap, and for them to bulge out, and they just don't. Like if you look down at this, it's almost a straight profile down. So there's really, really smooth lines between the tire and the rim. And we actually calipered this yesterday. These are called a 45. They calipered out a little less than 45. I'm not sure if that was just the tires themselves, if that's the way that they're designed to interface, but just something to note. Emmett, you've been riding these today for the photo shoot we've been doing. What are your first impressions?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we are running them with tubes, so probably a little bit more tire pressure than I would choose, but despite that, they feel great. Wheels are super light and snappy going up the climb here. I noticed that immediately. The tread pattern is really ideal for, we've got like a nice little gravel road here that we've been riding, and cornering on, it's kind of loose, so cornering on the side knobs they're comfortable, they lock in really well, and I also feel like I get plenty of speed from the kind of shallower knobs in the center of the tread. So it seems like a good all-around tire for racing gravel, particularly in like dry, dusty conditions. I'd love to see how they handle the wet. We're in the Pacific Northwest, so often, you know, it is a little bit damp. Yeah, so that would be neat to test in the future. But.
Yeah, and we've been testing these two on an NV Mog that's kitted out with a mixture of SRAM, Rival, and Force. Pretty fun bike to ride, and I think also just on a totally superficial level, the wheels look great, and I feel like big, bold branding on deep wheels is making a little bit of a comeback. Like, it's kind of harkening back to me like the 2010s, you know, back when, you know, your deep carbon wheels were just like blasted with logos. And these kind of are reminiscent of that.
Yeah, it looks really clean. I mean, the rim depth definitely helps give it that race bike aesthetic.
Yep.
And with that, we'll wrap it up. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on the video and be sure to click the link to check out these wheels.
Thanks for joining us. Happy riding out there.
Great. Thanks, Emmett.